What's up, everybody? So, yes, I am still alive. I have now really started my nets preparation, and I think one specific Ryzeal build that is heavily overlooked, and an engine in general that is heavily overlooked, is going to be the Magistus engine, because for the German nationals especially, they will take place on the same time span. I think the set releases on Thursday, right? So the new Battles of Legends, Monstrous Revenge, I think it's called, and it includes Dragonmaids, Orcust, and Punk. And I think because those two decks have a really big player base, I would advise you that if you try to go to nets like shortly after the set releases, you should keep Orcust and Punk on the radar. Maybe for German it's not that much, because the cards should be decently hard to acquire due to being released like only 2 days prior. But the engine that is overlooked the most is the Spoon engine, an engine that saw a lot of play in the OCG because it could turbo out Savage Dragon and then facilitate more plays because it produces 2 to 3 more bodies that can enable Synchro, Xyz, Link plays. And I use this engine, or I'm trying this engine in Ryzeal because it spams a lot of level 4 bodies, A. B, because it gives you a monster negate on the 5th summon, and because I think that if you build this compared to, for example, Ryzeal Mitsurugi, you have an even smaller engine. So if you go over to the build itself, 1 second, we can see that this is just 15 engine, right? So you have like with the 7th Tachyon, to be fair, so 7th Tachyon also, for even more consistency, you're just playing 18 engine compared to, I think, like the 22 to 24 you play with Mitsurugi. You have 22 slots for an engine, right? Technically, if you're super wild, you can also maybe squeeze in 1 engraver and a small extra deck line, but this is just the main engine, and we will go over the Spoon combo because Spoon is the card that enables it all. So starting off with 1 Spool, Spool can discard itself to add a Magistus card, or half the attack, but yeah, this is just basically discard search. And also we can banish Spoon to equip 1 Magistus monster from our extra deck to a Magistus monster we control. So starting off, we will activate Spoon, go ahead, pitch itself to grab Zoroa. Zoroa can equip 1 Magistus card with another from the extra deck, and if Zoroa becomes equipped with a Magistus card, we can special summon a level 4 spellcaster from hand or graveyard in defense position, but negate its effects. So this card enables Snake Eyes Doom Dragon, Chorozo plays, it enables Synchro plays, it enables rank 4 plays, because it's a tune, and also this does decently well play into hand traps because Spoon can just equip from grave, right? So at the end of the day we can still get a search later on if this would get impumped. So normal summon this, equip with the Artemis, trigger the Zoroa to bring back the Spoon, and then we will link off the Spoon for a second copy of Artemis. And now we will use the equipped Artemis to search out Crowley. Crowley is a Poplar and on summon can fuse. So we search Crowley, Crowley can special summon itself and then use the effect to fusion summon into the new Zoroa, the Magistus Victorious Verith Ragnar. I don't know if this is like Indian mythology mixed in with a bunch of random whatever, but yeah, it requires 1 Magistus monster and a fusion, Synchro Xyz or Link monster, and we can target 1 effect monster or opponent controls or in the graveyard and equip it to this card. So this is basically an ignition suck, like Anima-esque effect, and also it's a monster effect negate by sending a face-up Magistus monster card we control to the graveyard, and it gives us a pop. So it's like a combination of Anima and Verudros on top with being able to pop, right? So Verudros also has the option to detach 1 to negate and 2 to pop another card. So on the 5th summon, right, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get our monster negate, so this basically is just, yeah, you don't lose the nip. And now we can use the Spoon in the graveyard to equip the Crowley to the Zoroa, and now we have a spellcaster and a Link monster, and this enables us to go ahead and make Magistus Chirozzo. This could also be the Snake Eyes Doom Dragon if you want to play Centurion, which I would heavily advise you not to do right now, or as long as Detonator does see any meta relevant play. But now we get our free level 4, because this works similar to Doom Dragon, to Necro Equip, to itself. And now we have our 2 level 4 bodies, and from this point it is just duo drive time. Search sword, search node, and here the lines diverge depending on how you like to play it. I like to hard make the twins, so we go for sword, node, pitch, duo drive, make banshee, search out star. Star is also a really good card. Detach, star, set up the field spell. Keep in mind that star sets the field spell, so if you use star in like a real game, you would then on resolution first wait for the open game state to occur, and then with player priority flip cross. Just keep that in mind before you get like sharked or, well, cheating allegations, warnings, game losses. Keep that in mind, please. And then we can now go ahead, make the twins, add special node, send the twins to bring back sword. This combo decently plays into the Bestials. The main culprit to catching a Bestial would be your Magistus engine. Also, if you get impermed here, again, Spoon, Artemis, Crowley, and you still have 2 force on body, so this also does play well into the low impact targeted negate hand traps. And now we can just use the Eclipse twins to bring back the duo drive, and duo drive now can attach the Ekstrom Grave. And now we already have a 2-mate duo drive for the attack boost, and also set up for next turn. And now we get to make a really big detonator with 4 materials. Detonator attach the twins. We also have another rank 4 in rotation. And the only thing this combo lacks would be the cross draw. However, I think it's okay to sacrifice a cross draw if you get like a cross negate plus like more detaches and a better grind game, because you're able to keep duo drive up. So 1 draw versus guaranteed follow up plus more pops than negates is fine in my books. And this is the combo. So you end on a 3 pop, then pop itself, revive itself, get 2 more pops, so it's 5 pop detonator. We have the cross detach, we have the monster negate, and we technically have like 4 non-engine in our hand. Now imagine like Droplet, Imperm, Ash, Lancia as a blowout, for example, versus Malice. So a lot of flexibility. I think it lacks layered disruption, right? So everything you have is basically on your board. Whereas Mitsurugi, for example, they can tribute, play around more stuff, have the nuke, etc. But if you want to play a heavy non-engine control like deck, then this could be an option for you to look into. Yeah, the Spoon line versus Nip, right? How you beat Nip. We go ahead, Spoon for Zora. Normally Zora effect, equip the Artemis, trigger, bring back, make the second Artemis, and up until the point until we go to the 5th summon, Crowley fuse, and we make the fusion, and we get threatened by Nip. We can just activate the Zora. In response, send the equipped Artemis, because this says you can send 1 face-up Magistus monster card and not monster, so the Artemis equipped still counts as a monster card. So we negate Nip, then we use the effect, because correction, you target your own graveyard and your opponent's field, so sorry for that. And we will now equip 1, and then we use the Spoon, and this is how you get to your 2 level 4 bodies anyway. And then from here on it's just the same combo I've already shown you. And now on to what you can do if you get impermed on your Zoroa. And now for how you beat imperm, or like a low impact targeted negate hand trap like Valor, for example, too. Again, we just spoon for the Zoroa, and then we can normal summon Zoroa, activate, and we get hit by imperm, and that is fine because we still have spoon, banish itself to equip the Artemis to the Zoroa, and then we can use the Artemis to search, and this still facilitates our rank 4 place because now we can special summon the Crowley. We don't activate the effects of use. We just overlay Magistus Drive and then it's just Ryzeal combo. So as you see, this engine can pretty much bait out low impact hand traps, play with low impact hand traps, technically even higher impact hand traps like Nip. It does lose to the blowout cast though, right? Because draw is a thing, and with Mitsurugi you have the possibility to just draw phase, quick play tribute, and already get like 2 free searches off. Whereas here it's a bit worse, but again, depending on how the format shifts and evolves, you can keep this deck in mind. So this is an example deck list. It's a clean for the card list, right? With 22 non-engine slots, by the way, which is kind of crazy. Let me just talk about a couple of things with you regarding the list. First off, we add 4 more starters to the deck and 3 extenders. Spoon is A starter or B an extender into just another level 4 body. And counting our starters, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, technically 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 starters, if I am not mucho stupid. And we can bump this up to 17 with the 7th Ascension. This does lower card quality, yes, but it also increases the ceiling and gives you like a bunch of starters, right? With 17, the math should kinda look like 2 starters, 3 non-engine in your opening hands. And for non-engine, I think Ash, because first of all, Ash is like always good, but in this format, stopping a lot of Mulchamis, right? Because people are starting to play just straight up 9 Mulchamis main deck, 6 to 9, 3 to 9. So stopping Fuvolus, stopping Perulia especially is really good in this deck. Meows, you do not care that much, right? And then of course you can play, I think 5 is the sweet spot if you really want to play more Mulchamis. You should consider main decking Fuvolus, especially if your deck has a discard outlet. In this case we have the node that just can send a Fuvolus, or worst case a special X, get hit with Imperm Veiler, normal Fuvolus Magistus Drive in the worst case. Perulia is especially good into the Ryzeal and Mitsurugi stuff. However, like a good pilot should always kind of find a line to end at least that network plus 2 hand traps. Imperm out of the low impact hand traps, I think Imperm is still the best because it also works as a board breaker. I like to play Droplet in Mitsurugi Ryzeal because Mitsurugi just prints free hand cards, right? You get so many searches. However, in this deck, your engine and hand cards are a bit more sacred. Scare is the word, I'm sorry. Not a native English speaker. But yeah, so I think Imperm here is the better choice, especially if you have 2, you have 1 hand trap and like a breaker. Bell is really cracked this format, right? So Bell checks the Marcher. Bell is good against Ritual and the Revive and searches of the Rituals from... Oh no, it's Mitsurugi Prayers and Ritual Monster from Mitsurugi. Draw. You can argue about Draw in the main deck because it doesn't do that much against Malice. And also I feel like Draw seems like a really good card, and it is a strong card this format. But a good Ryzeal Mitsurugi hand can always beat Draw because you just get so many stuff going during your draw phase with the quick play spells, because Prayers plus any Mitsurugi name is just so broken in the deck. And also Nip, again, those are just cards that tend to either be meh, especially versus Malice, where they just don't really care about draw and can extend through Nip like a lot of the times. And then called by Crossout. I think Crossout in this deck is okay-ish. Right now I think Crossout overall is not that bad of a card, also not that good, because again it's kind of a second one-off, just like Called By, but with 2 cards it turns into less of a Seki one-off, and because you just play so many different hand traps, we really get to play those call by and crossouts. Another option you can consider is of course the Lancia, as well as if you don't want to play the Ryzeal stuff, you can just pivot into stuff like Doom Dragon and Orcust, for example, because you just, instead of Shirazo, make a Doom Dragon, and there you have your level 8 plus your level 4, and you just go for Orcust, and then full combo from there on out. Granite and Dugaris are optional targets, right? This is not considered a side deck, this is just choices and cards you can think about. And then I think the standard extra deck, like 4 extra deck slots, which is okay because Ryzeal has some flex spots, especially in more purish versions. So the Omni Negate, the Churrozo, the double Artemis, one to equip, one to make. Detonator double duo drive because X'd dump duo drive going first is really good. Just to have like duo drive attach life, especially in combination with Star. I like 2 Eclipse Twins because I'm a big fan of just going for lines where you hard make the twins. So X can dump something more valuable, right? So it helps with getting an aggregator into rotation, it helps getting another rank 4 into rotation to either get off the cross draw or to be able to just special back the duo drive and still have another rank 4 for your detonator to attach later on. Aggregator because X dump aggregator is still one of the best interactions in the whole game. A Banshee for some lines for more consistency. This could also be just a Granite, right? So if you add follow up or if you add nib. X item for board breaking. I like Tornado Dragon being able to just proactively force out back row and plays from Malice, for example. Always feels good instead of having to wait for them, so that you can actually start actively playing into the board. And then of course your 2 reveals targets, Masquerade and Archfiend Seraph. Technically, Self-attacking can also search the Spoon, and this would neg you less if you've opened X'd, because you wouldn't have to just send something else for Ice and turn Tachyon into a -2, just the standard -1 then. But yeah, this is an example list. Of course, this list is far from like finished or perfected, but this is just what I thought this engine could provide for the Ryzeal deck, and I just wanted to show you that this engine does exist, and just to keep it in mind that you know how to play with or against it, right? So choke points would be a combination of multiple hand traps, trying to get a Spoon out of rotation for them. Stuff like this, right? So Spoon on resolution of the Zoroa, for example, on the effect of Zoroa is really good because it doesn't go from banishment, for example. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon. Bye.